Welcome, folks. I got a great show for you tonight. I'm going to be reading your future, your dating futures, right here for you tonight, folks. Come one, come all. I'm going to predict how this is going to pan out for you. Welcome to the show, folks. I got a great show for you tonight. Let me get myself situated. Here we go. Can't read the future if I'm awkward, if I'm crooked. Okay, here we are, folks. I'm going to read the future. I'm going to read your future. Tonight we're going to be talking about your future. I predict that if the man is asking you what your career is looking like, I predict that if a man is asking you or telling you that he wants to build an empire together, I predict that if a man is asking you for a short-term loan to get his business started, that I predict poverty in your future. It's right here in the crystal, folks. All right? And tonight, I'm going to be reading all of your futures. If he says that he has money, he just needs a cosigner, but he can make the payments, that's poverty. Poverty's in your future. Don't blame me, it's in the crystal. All right? If he thinks that if he asks you if he should move into your place, how much are your bills every month? I can just move into yours so it saves time. That's poverty in your future. All right? I predict if he's taking you with the dealership with him and he hasn't had a job since ever, I predict poverty in your future. All right? If he hasn't had a job in the last 5 years, but he's on dating apps, that I predict poverty in your future. All right? I'm going to predict all y'all's future right now. Listen. Here we go. I'm getting a reading right now. Listen, guys. If this man is in his 40s and still trying to figure it out, finding his purpose in life, still looking for his partner in crime, but just trying to figure it out, maybe he'll catch a lucky break, asking you what you do, what your parents do. I predict that man's got a low credit score. And that's not going to bode well for your financial future. I predict that if you go home with the guy that drives a motorcycle in the leather jacket, the neck tattoo, that I predict poverty in your future. It doesn't read, I'm getting a reading, and it's not reading fiscal responsibility. It's right here in the crystal, folks. It's right here. All right? If that man's entire personality is his motorcycle, that does not read fiscal responsibility. It just doesn't. All right? I'm telling you, folks, that if you choose the wrong man, you will end up broke and embarrassed at brunch with your friends, and you're going to have some awkward conversations with your mother, defending a man that you ought not to be because you gave him a chance. It's right here in the crystal, folks. All right? Pay close attention. I don't get these readings often. But I'm trying to save you from a lifetime of misery. Believe me. None of this shit's cheap, folks. You got to pick your partners well in life. And I think that if the man is asking how much money you bring to the table, what do you bring to the table, and he doesn't have a job, you're going to be supporting that man living in your bedroom. Is that what you want? I see it in the future, folks. Listen. If he's asking you to be a co-signer, that man, you're going to end up making those payments. I promise you. Y'all, some of y'all right now living with men that haven't gotten off their ass to get a job ever. Listen, folks, here's what's happening. You're more likely to see aliens in the sky before that man that you met that didn't have any fiscal responsibility is going to now go get a job. Hold on now. Don't join. No. Don't join my lives, folks. Hang on. Listen. We're literally seeing aliens in the sky before he actually goes in and gets a job application filled out. Some of y'all living with that right now. And that's unfortunate for you, but I'm trying to save the rest of y'all. All right? Just because you had one tipsy night and made a mistake and you brought that man home and now he's living there, doesn't mean the rest of us have to suffer. All right? I'm trying to save you folks by reading the future. Your future. That man needs to have a retirement plan. If he's still figuring it out in his 40s and no plan, you are going to be miserable, folks. How do you explain that to your friends at brunch, for real? Somebody's going to be your girlfriend that you went to college with is going to be vacationing in the Hamptons. Another one of your friends from high school or whatever is going to be just sailing around the world with some man. And you're just going to be and you're going to be at brunch telling your girlfriends about how he's about to get his certificate, and then things are really going to start looking good. Meanwhile, he's at home in his boxers playing Madden 2K. Hasn't left in 2 days. Smells exactly the same as you left him. I'm not making this up, folks. I'm getting a reading. That's what's going to happen, folks. I promise you. I promise you that. I'm reading your future right now. Hang on. Get a little undone here. I only do this once in a while, folks. Well, talk to me. How's your dating lives going, folks? I'm going to read your future. The ball is low for you. Yeah, that's right. So is the bar for some of y'all. The bar is too low for most of y'all. And I'm trying to warn you. I'm trying to read your future for you so you can avoid this timeline. You can shift it now. All right? You can shift your timeline right here, right now. I'm going to tell you what to do. Okay? All right? Here's what you got to do, folks. You got to go to a golf club, a private golf course with memberships club. And you need to meet a man in a polo shirt at least. If the shirts have buttons, that's a good start. All right? If it's perforated and it's got a number and some other man's name on the back, that's not a good start. It's a bad start. All right? If the shoes don't have laces, not a good start. All right? You need laces on those shoes. You tie them up. All right? I'm going to read the future. If they wear a hoodie every single day, outside of going to and from the gym or something, not a good start. Needs a collar. Needs a collar and a shirt, a white collar. But blue collar is okay too in some professions. All right? Okay? If those pants have pockets on the sides, on the legs, like here on the outside of the thighs, if they got big pockets on the thighs on the outside, and that man isn't a successful general contractor, not a good start. Just isn't. It just isn't. Getting a reading. All right? If that man's 5 years younger than you, not a good start. All right? I predict that your future is going to be riddled in poverty because y'all picking the wrong ones. All right? I promise you. It's right here in the crystal. Okay. How are we doing, folks? I'm going to get personal. I'm going to get personal with you, folks. How's our lives going? I'm barely reading on Instagram. What do you got over here on TikTok? Hello, everyone. Tell me about your life. My boyfriend is 22. Hang on. I got to back it up. Let me move my whole costume over. My boyfriend is 22 years younger, doctor and a millions. Okay, so Dixie chick over here is robbing the cradle. Robbing the cradle. Miss Dixie chick, 22 years younger than you. I want to know who your doctor is. How you pulling 22-year-old younger than you doctors? You got that Christina Aguilera set up? What are you doing? You spill it. We all need to know. How you pulling that kind of weight? How you making that kind of pull? How you doing that? 35. My new man is 42. Is that a big age gap? No. Listen here, man. After 25, nobody cares about the age gap anymore. Nobody cares. You 30 dating a 50-year-old man, you do your thing, boo-boo. That's all good. You have my blessing. The crystal blesses you too. See? It's okay. Do your thing. Y'all legal adult, y'all voting on the mayor. Do what you want to. All right? It's a good idea to date older, more established men. Sure. Good idea. I predict your future seems stable. All right? Good idea. It's not a good idea to date a 5-10 year old. You ever met a man in his 20s? How useless is a man in his 20s? They don't know anything, especially about not just about relationships, but even about themselves. My God, what do you do when you're in your 20s as a man? You don't know anything. Most men aren't even men, dead ass, until they're in their 40s, straight up. So you dating, if you're a woman 35, 40 years old dating 20 something, it means to me that you are lost. You see, unless you had some sort of success from a previous marriage, something like this, and you're set up, I'd be worried. Shouldn't you be worried? You want a man you can learn from. It's helpful that way. My man is a resident doctor. I have to wait for him to make the good money. Oh yeah, you got an investment. Here's the thing, Alyssa. If you're dating a man who's in medical school, or you're dating a man who's a resident doctor, unless y'all marry, unless y'all marry, that man, I predict, will leave you for a younger woman when he gets his practice up and moving. Y'all dating. You better secure that ring stat, so at least you get something out of it. My God, because if not, he's just going to leave you when he's out of the shit. I promise you that. It's right here in the crystal. All right? Sorry to tell you, Alyssa. You better put some pressure on it, or else you're going to pay for that later. Yes, I've seen it. They all got big egos. Y'all ever met a doctor? They all act like they lord that shit over your head, like they're so smart, smarter than you, even especially people close to them. All right. Once they get out of the residency from making, I don't know, $60,000 a year or whatever the fuck it is, to making a respectable doctor income, you have to put some respect on the name. Then he drops you for the 20-something model. I promise you. That's how it goes every time, folks. Don't blame me. I'm getting a reading. All right? You better get a ring on it. You're going to be crying to me later. I promise you that. Sorry to tell you, Alyssa. It's not my fault. I'm a financial advisor, single mom. Advice. Well, you know more than anything as a financial advisor, them kids aren't getting any cheaper. They get more expensive. Their children dead ass living at home till they're 25 now. You got to have somebody that's making more money than you, or unless you're making a lot as a financial advisor. It's just getting more expensive. Your salary's staying the same, but the whole world's just getting more expensive. My God. Kids staying at home till they're 25 now, and at the rate this is going, I predict it's going to be closer to 30, and you're going to be making a down payment on their first home too. My financial advice is find yourself a provider man that can at least supplement. My God. Shit's getting expensive out here. My advice is put yourself into circles where people that have means make money and spend time. Like, for instance, pay barriers to enter private members clubs or golf courses clubs or yacht clubs, tennis clubs, anything where you got to pay to be there. An expensive annual membership. That's where you should spend your time, folks, is make the investment. Trust me. Pay for that expensive gym membership. I promise you. Proximity to wealth is how you get yourself a provider man. I promise you that. I'm reading your futures, folks. Here we go. I predict that if you guys start dating people that are perpetually making excuses for their situations, you ever hear the ones where it's always their mom's fault or their parents' fault, my dad, whatever. They never paid much attention to me. My job fired me, so therefore. These kinds of people are going to be that way forever. And they'll drag you into their fucking misery. Do you guys understand? They'll pull you into that shit. They'll have you believe in that shit for them, And then you're going to feel so sorry for them and guilty that you're just now succumb to it as well. And that's now your life. And then you're just going to quietly accept that depressed life after some time because that's all you know. The devil you know is better than the devil you don't, right? And then you yourself will just live with them in their excuses. And next thing you know, you'll be making them for them too. So choose wisely, folks. Choose what your future depends on it. Should a woman wait for a ring before leaving her job, even if a guy is caring for her financially? Okay, that's a good point. That's a good question, actually. If you're dating a man and he's providing for you financially, but he hasn't put a ring on it yet, and it's been too long. I don't know about your case, but if you're dating a man that's been paying for your life, that's a good sign. Usually men need to make investments. If a man makes an investment in you, particularly lifestyle investments or convenience investments, that's a good sign that a man wants to keep you around long term. I predict that that's going to work out well for you. Okay. However, if a man is providing for your life, but it's been 8 years, okay, that man's going to trade you in for a newer model as soon as the opportunity presents itself. I'm sorry to tell you that, but the crystal's clear. All right? So, I suggest as a woman that you do not depend solely on a man's income to support your lifestyle, because if you do, when you guys get into a fight, there goes your entire livelihood. And then now what are you going to do? Girls got to live, girls got to eat. What happens? You're at his mercy forever? Is that how you want to live? That sounds depressing to me. And the crystal ball, it looks dismal. All right? Nothing wrong with a man taking care of you or whatever. But always, always have ways to make money for yourself. Or else you might get left high and dry and with nothing to show for it. Now you're just 8 years fucking older. All right? Put in a rainy day fund. Save it away, guys. I'm going to predict your future right here, right now. Is it wrong to want an allowance for him? Here's the thing. You can't pressure men to give you an allowance. Men only give allowances if it makes their lives easier. All right? The only kind of men that give women allowances outright are ugly men that just can't get women. Those guys, you want to date an ugly man, you'll get allowances all day, man. You get yourself a nice man, a nice short king with male pattern baldness with more hair on his belly than on the top of his head. That man will give you an allowance. I can predict that. That's fucking obvious. I don't even need a crystal for that one. However, if you want a handsome man, that could provide for you. He's only going to do it if it benefits him. You see? Handsome men provide only if it makes sense for him to do so. Like, for instance, if it makes it more convenient for him to see you or whatever. All right? By helping finance you in some way, it makes his life easier. That's the way it works. All right? Otherwise, get yourself a 5'6" man. All right? With male pattern body. He might not be a stallion in the bedroom, but he'll provide for you. You'll get that bag or whatever. Like that handbag or whatever you want. There's always options for that, man. How low do you want to stoop? Or how high? I don't know. How high do you want to aim? How low do you want to stoop? You need to sort that out for yourself. I can't tell you that. The crystal can't tell you that. Sorry. Yeah, sacrifices must be made, though. All right? How old should a woman date if she's in her 40s? Well, Marie, if you date very old, you don't have to date very old for long. Something to think about, Marie. All right? Less work, you know what I mean? Once a month kind of deal versus once every other day kind of deal. You know what I mean? There's a pill for that. And it doesn't come around often. That's something to consider, Marie. How much energy you got? All right? If you're a sleepy girl, date older. Okay? Okay. Here's the thing about dating apps, folks. Oh, hang on. Hang on. I lost you on TikTok for a second there. Okay. We're back. Here's the thing about dating apps, folks. Hang on. Okay. Here's the thing about dating apps, folks. The men on dating apps all haven't taken a picture since it was 1995. That's the problem with dating apps. Y'all don't know what you're getting into. He has a full head of hair in the front and no hair in the back. Y'all ever been hat-fished? You ever been hat-fished before? Where he pulls his hat off and the face just keeps going? You been hat-fished before? That's what it's like on dating apps. Now, some of y'all like that. I know some of y'all have a thing for those guys or whatever. And that's fine. You got to understand that. And I think that if you're okay with them being significantly older than they actually depict themselves to be, all right, then dating apps can be fine. You just got to understand that that's the game. And some of y'all should be dating older, so that's all right. Listen, dating apps are fine. Do the ones where the guys have to pay to be there, though. Like Raya. It's better. The caliber of men. Here's the thing. Broke men don't want to pay for dating apps. But for some reason, broke men will pay for dating apps. And that blows my mind. But they're more likely to be on Tinder, Bumble, whatever. The free ones. All right? It's free and they got all the free time in the world. So they're going to be on those apps. All right? It's always fascinating to me. The brokest dudes have so much time to be on Tinder and date 3 or 4 girls from Tinder every week. Priorities are all out of order. And I predict that their future is broke. They're gonna end up meeting some poor unfortunate soul setting up shop in her life because all they got is time on Tinder. I prefer people that are from wealthy families simply because they just understand more. You know, they've lived a life a little bit more that other people haven't seen yet, don't have exposure to. Things are obvious to them that are not so obvious to others, you see. So for me, it just makes things easier. It just greases the wheel a bit. It's easier. I don't have a problem. I grew up poor, but now that I've grown and have some experience, people that came from money or have wealth in their family, they just have more life experience about things, you know, and they just understand stuff that you learn later in life if you become a success yourself. So for me, it's always been just nice. It's just been nice. They know people. They've done things. They've traveled a bit. It's just a nice experience typically. And typically, the best thing about the wealthy men, particularly, is that it's all nepotism. Because why? If, as a man, as myself, I would definitely bestow to my children whatever I've done and just pass it along to them. So if they come from a wealthy family, it's a good fucking bet that man, I predict, will be also wealthy himself. See? It's right there, folks, right in the crystal. If he comes from a wealthy family, the likelihood that he himself will be wealthy is significantly higher than somebody else. You see? That's a good bet. It's right here in the crystal, folks. Hello, folks. Reading the future. Reading your future. Wait. I can't read Instagram. Rub the crystal ball again. I might. Give me some time. I'm still trying to get situated in here. It's hard being a psychic. How can a poor girl meet a wealthy man and get him to stay? Here's the deal. Poor girl. You just need to gussy yourself up a bit. All right? Push up the girls. Tweeze those damn eyebrows. All right? Wax that mustache. Put a comb through it. Put on your most prettiest dress. And put yourself in the proximity of where wealthy men are. All right? You got to look good. You got to be nearby. All right? You're not Rapunzel. I predict that you can't just sit at home on your couch and Prince Charming is going to land in your lap. That's not going to work. That's obvious. It's right here in the crystal. But what you could do is take action today. All right? Beat your face and let your hair down for once. I predict that you won't attract a successful man in the same juicy couture pants you wore yesterday. All right? So what's it going to be? Got to make an investment in yourself. Okay? How long do you have to hide your brokenness? Listen, ma'am, men don't care about how much money you make. If a man is asking you how much money you make or what you bring to the table, that man has a low credit score. I predict that for sure. That's obvious. I'm getting a reading about that right now. Look at that. It's going crazy. If he's asking you how much money you make, he's got low credit. All right? He don't need to know if he's successful, I promise. If he needs to know, he's broke. All right? That's obvious to me. If he needs to know how much money you make, it's because he is broke. And he just needs a small investment from you to start his car wash business or whatever. His food truck idea. His surfing course. Whatever. All right? If he needs to know how much money you make, he's going to be asking for a small startup loan from you. Crystal's going crazy on that one. All right? Let me tell you something about men that make money. They don't give a shit how much money you make. They just don't. Because it doesn't matter to them. They're going to be paying for it anyways. They didn't ask you. What does it matter? Here's the only time a rich man cares about how much money you make. I mean, he won't ever care about how much money you make, but he will care a little bit about your career if that's what you're passionate about. Like if you're actually a career-driven woman and you're gonna cure cancer, and this is because it's important because your grandma had cancer and there's a burning desire inside of you to solve some shit. Okay, the man might support that ideal, but he's a successful man still doesn't need your money. Do you understand? All right. So just if you're a poor girl looking for a successful man, you just need to be pretty and be nearby. All right. And if you're not pretty and nearby, then you're never going to meet a man. That's it. So put yourself together. All right. Pluck those rogue hairs or whatever. And then be nearby where rich men hang out. All right. And then I predict a better dating life for you. It's right there in the crystal, folks. I don't mind people talking about their exes because it gives me an insight as to who they are. Fine. Listen, fine. But also there's two sides to every story. And in my experience, everybody's ex seems to be crazy. Y'all just so crazy. Everyone's just crazy. Everybody's a narcissist. Everybody's just crazy. I've heard that same boring old record over and over again. That I'm just uninterested now. You know, it's not that I don't care per se. No, wait. Let me back up. If you genuinely faced a trauma, it's not that I don't care about the trauma or whatever. But if I hear one more woman say that her ex was a narcissist, I'm going to scream. I'm sick of it. I'd rather just skip this part where I pretend to empathize because I know y'all both crazy. It's only a couple more. You're only a couple more dates away, anyways, from showing you're crazy, anyways, sis. I don't want to hear about your narcissist ex. I just don't. I predict that you're the crazy one. If every ex that you've ever had was a narcissist, I predict that you're the narcissist. You're telling on yourself. My therapist called my ex a narcissist. Some of y'all's therapists are tricking you anyways. All right? They're charging you in billable hours and giving y'all bad advice. That's another thing. It's a great racket for the therapist. And I also think therapy's great. Give somebody else to yap to that's not your mother or your boyfriend that's going to be so goddamn judgmental. That's cool. But sometimes therapists don't know shit either. They pretend to write stuff down on their notepads. They're not even going to talk to you about it again. It's bullshit. That's right, folks. Look at this. I'm getting a reading right here, right now. I'm getting a reading right here, right now. Listen, guys. If your ex was a narcissist, if all your exes were narcissists, you're the narcissist, all right? And just stop telling people. Just keep that shit to yourself, all right? And then just keep it inside. Nobody needs to know all 12 of your exes were narcissists. All that's going to do is just tip them off that you're the crazy one. All right? You need to save the crazy for at least 4 or 5 dates in, at least. Okay? Let them suck your toes first. Our lash extensions too much. For some of you, it is too much. Most of y'all, 90% of women wearing lash extensions, it's too much. Okay? Some of you poor unfortunate souls with invisible eyelashes, okay, y'all can wear them. That's fine. But the rest of you is too much. Y'all looking like you're gonna fly away. You're gonna take flight, lift off. Can't even see what color your eyes are. It's crazy. Yeah, a little mascara goes a long way. And I mean a little, I mean a little. Okay? A little goes a long way, folks. Save those eyelashes. Your eyelashes, if you're wearing extensions, your eyelashes better be almost invisible. That's the only people that are allowed. The rest of y'all, a light mascara. That's it. Keep it classy, folks. All right? That other stuff, y'all save it for the bedroom. But if y'all just going out into the world, lighten it up. It's too much. Y'all looking like hookers for no reason. I predict that men will think you're a hooker. Don't blame me. It's in the crystal. All right? If a man asks you what you do for work, listen, that's cool. Man, you need to know what you do. He's got to size you up a little bit. You know, it's a good idea to have an idea about where the girl spends their time or whatever. You know, what do you do is a common question that anybody can ask. And it's fair, it's reasonable, it would be way stranger if they had no clue and did not care at all what you did. Because you know, you could be anything. You could be a hitman for the mafia or something, or you could be a straight up streetwalker, or you could be I don't know, some sort of con man, thief, or something. I don't know. It could be anything, right? So for them to not care at all what you're doing with your time during your day, like no regard, no question, that man's is conning you or something. He's got a trick up his sleeve for you. All right? He does not care about you, or he's going to use you in some way, ma'am. Let me tell you. If he doesn't even know, he doesn't care what you do during your day, there's something wrong with that. It's a red flag. Now, that being said, if he cares about how much you make, and if he follows that question was, oh, wow, your salary must be really good then, huh? You making good money over there? That question means he's broke. All right? That question means that he's going to be setting up shop in your life. All right? He can know what you need. He can know what you do. Of course he can. That's crazy to not even ask that question. But if he's very curious about how much you make and how much money you bring to the table, he's starting to consider how y'all can combine your resources so that he can drive a Chevrolet Camaro Super Sport. Because with your joint income, you can help pay for some of his car note. I predict you're going to be paying for that car note. All right? He's going to start going, well, two can live for the price of one. You know, if we can get this place together, we can save up, and maybe I can even get a new car, babe. Yeah. And then you're going to go, yeah, huh? Wait. That's what I predict's going to happen. No, because he just told me his ex had him on insurance. Ta-da! It's as if I can read the future. And look, I can. That's right. He's going to ask to get on your insurance because yours is cheaper. Your phone plan is a better deal, so why don't you just add them so he can only pay $50 a month instead of the $75? Okay? That's how it goes. That's always how it goes. And next thing you know, it's just one obvious financial convenience to the next. They're small, and then incrementally they add up. Next thing you all know, y'all got joint accounts where he's drawing from. All right? And then you start asking yourself, wait a second, who bought those new golf clubs? Was that my money? Or you start doing that math. All right? Then y'all fighting about it before vacation in front of the kids. That's where it goes. That's the future for you. It's best to avoid that shit now. All right? Date for results, folks. Let me get close on this one. Let me just get it close here. Who decided to date that man? All right? Who gave that 68-year-old man a chance? And by the way, if he's 68 years old, man, how many times has he tried to become successful and failed? What kind of charity is this that you're a part of? Where you're dating a 68-year-old man who can't even support you. That's crazy. It's not saying you can't make it when you're 60 or 70 years old, but my God, you've had a long time to try. All right? And whose fault is this? Is it his fault or is it your fault for dating him? In some ways, it is his fault. But how is that your problem unless you make it your problem? It's 55. He's 55. Same thing. If he's a 55-year-old man who still hasn't made it yet, how is that your problem unless you make it your problem, ma'am? All right? You're not putting yourself together well, and you're not showing up to the places you need to be to meet the men that aren't 55 years old and struggling. That's your problem, man, because you choose to date those guys. So, are you mad at the man? Is it his fault or is it your fault? You always have a choice, sister. And I predict if you make better choices, you wouldn't be on my life complaining about it. Listen, don't put yourself in a position to date a man who's in his older years in life and he still hasn't figured it out financially, or else you will be miserable. All right? All right, folks? I'm a fortune teller. Will I find love at 24, please? If you put a brush through it, all right? You put a brush through that hair, okay? You get yourself some dry shampoo, pencil skirt, some heels, and put yourself out there. I predict that you will have a better chance at finding love than if you sit at home watching your shows and wine every night. All right? Put yourself out there, folks. You're not Rapunzel. Prince Charming isn't going to poof and land in your lap. All right?